Good morning, everybody. We have come to the last class of gastrointestinal tract or the alimentary tract. Today's class is about functions of large intestine and the gastrointestinal hormone, which constitute the hormonal regulation of most of the secretions. So, the learning objectives are macroscopic and microscopic with functions. What is defecation? How do you classify gastrointestinal? The main being the secretin and gastrin. So the process of digestive was dealt on the basis of ingestion, where you came to know about mastication and swallowing with different enzymatic secretions like salivary, gastric juice, bile, pancreatic juice, small intestinal secretion like succus entericus. And you came to know how the digestion takes place in the small intestine, wherein a polysaccharide is cleaved into a disaccharide and into finally the monosaccharide, which is the glucose. So the motility where how the peristalsis takes place with small intestine movements like ostrations and concentric movements. A very important place is peristalsis, where the basal electrical rhythm is located in the fundus of the stomach, and this generates a wave which moves aborally, and this is called as the law of gut. And all the absorption of the different moieties were discussed. So this is what the whole process was discussed in an overview. But today's class will be dealing about large intestine, which comprises of Taenia coli. These are three bands of longitudinal smooth muscle in its muscularis. Ostrations, the pocket-like sacs, which maintains the tone of the taenia, and epiploic appendages, which are fat-filled pouches of visceral peritoneum. Large intestine is mainly subdivided into what is called as the cecum, the appendix, the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, followed by the rectum and anal canal. The sac-like cecum, which lies below the ileocecal valve in the right iliac fossa, contains a worm-like vermiform appendix, which is almost vestigial. It is functionless. This is the large intestine with cecum and appendix. The ascending colon, the transverse colon with ostrations, the descending colon, and the rectum, sigmoid colon, followed by the anal canal, which is the external and internal sphincter. The colon has distinct regions, that is the ascending colon till the hepatic flexure near the liver, transverse colon till the splenic flexure, and from the splenic flexure the descending colon continues into sigmoid colon. The transverse and sigmoid portions are anchored via mesentery called as mesocolon. The sigmoid colon joins the rectum and the anal canal. The last segment of large intestine opens to the exterior at the anus. The valves and sphincter of rectum and anus. Three valves of rectum stop the feces from being passed with gas. It can be voluntarily controlled. The anus has two sphincters, which is internal anal sphincter composed of smooth muscle, whereas the external anal sphincter composed of skeletal muscle, which is somatic in innervation. These sphincters are closed except during defecation. The ostrations which was taken on an X-ray, these are similar to segmentation but more marked in anatomically predetermined location of the circular muscular layer. You can see how it looks with different saculations. It is governed by basal electrical rhythm from interstitial cells of Kajal, which is around 6 per minute. Usually they don't form action potential. The stronger contractions are prolonged by is acetylcholine by BER. The large intestine has microscopic structure wherein colon is a simple columnar epithelium except in the anal canal, has numerous deep crypts lined with goblet cells. Hmm? Anal canal mucosa is stratified squamous epithelium. The anal sinuses exude mucus and compress feces. The superficial venous plexus are associated with anal canal. Inflammation of these veins results in itchy varicosities called as hemorrhoids. So, large intestine, the large intestine has the microscopic structure with longitudinal layer called as the tinea coli with submucosa and interstitial glands which secrete the mucus. The predominant function of the rectum with the anus with anal and internal and external anal sphincter which controls the defecation. The colon motility is very important. Before that, we need to know what are the small intestinal movements. The various movements of small intestinal are mixing movements, the propulsive movements, and the antiperistalsis. The mixing movements of the small intestine cause proper mixing of the food with digestive juices. This can be either segmentation contractions or pendular contractions. This segmentation helps to make the food to mix in all the directions of the small intestine, wherein it chops the chyme 8 to 12 times per minute. As you all know, the chyme is the semi-solid liquid which comes out from the stomach after the propulsion and retropropulsion with an antral systole. So finally, the pendular movements of small intestine, this type of movements help in mixing of intestinal contents. A long segment of intestine moves over its contents to and fro like a pendulum, and so it's called as pendular movement. So when you're talking about the movement, small intestine movements is very important, followed by which we have the colon motility which is guarded, which forms the mass peristalsis which helps in defecation. So colon motility is 1 to 3 times per day, usually after a meal. A wave of contraction moves the content to a larger distance wherein the colon remains contracted for a while. The overall movement is slow, it's around 5 to 10 centimeter per hour. It is controlled by enteric nervous system. The sympathetics blunt the movements. The parasympathetic stimulates the oscillations of proximal parts and expulsive movements of the distal parts. Reflexes of large intestine are colonocolic, distension of one part relaxes the rest. The gastric colic, which is the filling of stomach, which increases frequency of mass movements. Similarly, the duodenocolic. So this colonocolic, gastrocolic, in children in particularly, as soon as they consume anything, they pass motion. This is the gastrocolic reflex. And the most important after the movements of the large intestine, wherein the mixing movements and the propulsive movements which were discussed. The propulsive movements of the large intestine, these movements occur only few minutes a day. A constrictive ring appears at the distended or irritated point in the colon, usually in the transverse colon. Then about 20 centimeter of the colon distal to the constriction contracts almost a single unit, forcing the fecal matter to move down the colon. When the fecal matter enters the colon, the subject gets the urge to defecate. So the most important thing which is important for us is the bacterial flora. This is many organisms are there in the intestine. The bacterial flora of the large intestine consists of bacteria surviving the small intestine that enter the cecum and those entering via the anus. These bacteria colonize the colon, they ferment the indigestible carbohydrates, release irritating acids and gases like hydrogen sulfide in the form of flatus. They synthesize B complex vitamins and vitamin K like biotin. So, the functions of the large intestine are secretions from the large gut, where goblet cells secrete mucus, they protect the lubricant layer, helps in stool formation, the adherent medium for holding fecal matter together. They protect the wall from bacterial activity. Secretion of bicarbonate to fight acidity caused in stool due to bacterial. It also secretes potassium. It helps in the movements which are mixing movements, propulsive and defecation. So we came to know the mass peristalsis. Digestion none except by the bacteria. Absorption is very important in large intestine because water and electrolyte sodium along with chlorides are absorbed. Bile salts and certain products of bacterial action like indole also are absorbed. Heavy metals, metabolites, drugs like emetin are excreted. Functions of intestinal bacterial flora, as we discussed, it helps in supply vitamin K and B and important role in preventing infection. Destruction of intestinal flora can result in loose stools, commonly followed by whenever you take antibiotics, the bacterial flora is lost. So we need to give lactobacillus or curds. Also used to transplant ureter after removal of the pathological urinary bladder. Anesthetics can be delivered, fluids of transmission purpose and drugs may be given through the large gut. So these are the different phases of digestion, where motility, secretion, digestion. Oral cavity mainly involves swallowing and chewing, that is mastication and deglutition, followed by secretion of saliva, which predominantly contains salivary amylase with lipase, where carbohydrate digestion is initiated. Then in the stomach, there is a peristaltic mixing and propulsion followed by retropropulsion, and the function of the stomach is it acts as a receptive relaxation. It acts like a receptionist to receive the food and thereby which a collapsed organ can consume up to 1 to 2 liters. And it secretes HCl which converts pepsinogen to pepsin. It has the chief cell secrete HCl. The mucus and mucosal have forming the mucosal bicarbonate barrier. Protein digestion is initiated in the stomach. It starts there because of the presence of pepsin. Lipid soluble substance like alcohol and aspirin is also absorbed. Small intestine, it is mixing and propulsion, primarily segmentation movements. Bicarbonate and enzymes formed where all this are mixing together with goblet cells, hormone CCK and secretin is formed. Carbohydrate, polypeptide, all the digestive processes take place here, and absorption also takes where peptides are absorbed by active transport, amino acids, glucose and fructose are by secondary active transport, fats by simple diffusion, water by osmosis, and vitamins by active transport. So, in large intestine, there is segmentation, mixing, and mass movement, which is the main thing for the mixing movements are large circular constriction appearing in the large intestine, narrowing the lumen of the colon, sometimes leading to complete occlusion. So we have mass peristalsis leading to defecation. It secretes mucus, and the most important, there is no digestion except the bacterial flora is formed. Most of the water and minerals along with vitamins are absorbed in the large intestine. So functions of large intestine, in summary, it helps in digestion of the enteric bacteria. In the presence of enteric, no further digestion takes place. So vitamins, water and electrolytes are absorbed. Its major function is propulsion of fecal matter towards the anus. Though essential for comfort, colon is not essential for life. So large intestine, where bacterial fermentation helps in the formation of vitamin K, lactate and butyrate. Water and electrolytes are secreted and absorbed. Sodium enters the colonic cells and it's a sodium dependent water reabsorption. So you can know how all the minerals are reabsorbed. The digestive secretion saliva with around 1.5 liters, bile of 0.5 with 2 liters, the gastric secretion, and 1.5 liters of pancreas with small intestine secretion. The total input is almost 9 liters, and it's equally removed from the lumen. 7.5 liters in the absorbed in the small intestine, and 1.4, only 0.1 liter is lost in the feces. A rectum usually is empty. Retrograde contractions return the content to sigmoid until there is too much of it. Just before you pass motion, voiding of motion is called defecation. A mass movement in sigmoid fills rectum where there is increased pressure and reflex relaxation of internal sphincter, which is a smooth muscle, and contraction of external sphincter, which is a skeletal muscle, controlled intentionally by pudendal nerve. Stretch receptors in rectal wall can adapt. Urge to defecate can be temporarily subside if suppressed voluntarily. Reflex is controlled from the defecation is a reflex, spinal reflex. It's controlled from the sacral spinal cord and modulated from higher levels, conscience and will. If you are unable to pass, you can voluntarily control, which is from the higher center. Acetylcholine parasympathetic fibers in pelvic nerves are the efferent. Efferent is coming from the spinal cord. Highly propulsive contractions of descending colon and sigmoid result in relaxation of both sphincter outer voluntarily. Inspiration pushes the diaphragm downwards. Contraction of expiratory muscles with full lungs and contraction of abdominal muscles increase abdominal pressure up to 200 mm of Hg, resulting in defecation. So it's a spinal reflex which can be voluntarily controlled. What happens is mostly there will be relaxation of both sphincters, internal and external. Inspiration pushes the diaphragm with contraction of expiratory and abdominal pressure, with pressure increasing up to 200 mm, resulting in defecation. This is the structure of the anal canal. You can see the veins which result in hemorrhoids, the external sphincter, the internal sphincter. External is voluntary, internal is smooth muscle, and you can see the different sinuses. Defecation is by distension of rectal walls caused by feces. It stimulates contraction of rectal wall and relaxes the internal anal sphincter. So whenever it is distended with the feces, the stimulation of the rectal wall, voluntary signals stimulate relaxation of external anal sphincter and defecation occurs. So generally, whenever it is filled with feces, motion is the better word, is feces. The mechanical distension of the rectal wall stimulates contraction of rectal wall and relaxes the anal sphincter. Voluntarily it stimulates relaxation of external anal sphincter, and eventually defecation occurs. So you can see the spinal reflex where afferent is the number 1, goes to the spinal cord, efferent is to the pelvic nerve, so involuntary motor nerve, and you can see this is from consciously, if you want to control, it is from the cerebral cortex. With the distension, sensory, it is carried to the spinal cord. Both the sphincters, internal and external sphincters, contract, relax with the distension. The most important topic in the end we deal is how these gastrointestinals. Secretin was the first hormone discovered in 1905 by Starling and Bayliss. Digestion, absorption, assimilation requires precise coordination of huge number of physiological processes. GIT has biologically active polypeptides secreted by gland and nerve cells. These are mainly the gastrointestinal hormones. Control over gastrointestinal function is provided by nervous and endocrine system. The hormones most important in controlling digestive functions are synthesized within the gastrointestinal tract by cells scattered in the epithelium of the stomach and small intestine. So, all these hormones are within the gastrointestinal tract. These endocrine cells and the hormones that secrete are referred to as enteric endocrine system. The enteroendocrine cells, there are about 15 types. It can be identified in the mucosa of small intestine, stomach and colon. Many secrete only one hormone identified by the letter G means gastrin, S means secretin. The enterochromaffin cells, these are clear cells with diffuse distribution. These are argentinophil cells which secrete D for somatostatin, G for gastrin, and the support cells, which are the amine precursor uptake decarboxylation cells, are also called as neuroendocrine cells in the GIT, lungs, and other organs. The general gastrointestinal classification was based on gastrin and secretin family. Most of them come under this. In the gastrin, we have gastrin and cholecystokinin, also called as CCK-PZ, cholecystokinin, pancreozymin. In secretin family, we have secretin, glucagon, VIP, GIP, and glycantin. Gastrin, there are different forms G17 and G34. Similar to glucagon, like peptide also present, it regulates pancreatic secretion. Other hormones which belong to this are motilin, which helps in motility, which has the place in the role of hunger contractions. So this villikinin helps in villi movement, neurotensin, ghrelin helps in satiety. So gastrin is produced in the G cells in lateral wall of the glands in the antral portion of gastric mucosa, also in pancreatic islets in fetal life, pituitary hypothalamus. There are different forms based on the isomerism, which is called as stoichiochemistry. It is inactivated in kidney. The actions are it stimulates gastric acid and pepsin secretion. It has a tropic action. It helps to grow the mucosa of the stomach and intestine. It stimulates motility and stimulates insulin secretion, but only after protein meal. Cholecystokinin, which is produced from the granular mucosa of the upper portion of the small intestine, predominantly the duodenum and jejunum. It contracts the gallbladder to release bile. It secretes pancreatic juice. It inhibits gastric emptying. It exerts tropic action on pancreas. CCK plus secretin augments the contraction of pyloric sphincter. CCK plus gastrin stimulates the glucagon secretion. Secretin, which is secreted located in the deep cells of the upper small intestine, secreted by the S cells, acts on the duct of the pancreas to produce alkaline watery secretion. CCK produces enzyme rich, whereas secretin causes bicarbonated secretion. It reduces gastric secretion, contraction of pyloric sphincter. Secretin can be regulated by feedback secretion, where it secretes alkaline pancreatic juice, neutralizes the acid from the stomach, thereby inhibiting and secretion of VIP is increasing it relaxes the internal smooth and dilates peripheral vessel, whereas GIP in large doses inhibits gastric juice, glucagon cells of the stomach, hyperglycemia after pancreatectomy. The other hormones are motilin, which are contraction of smooth muscle. The neurotensin inhibits GI motility. Substance B increases motility of small intestine. Then ghrelin controls the food intake and growth hormone secretion. Thank you.